Today's episode we're going to be talking about Batman Live, the live 28 show, which we kind of talked about a bit of it yesterday, but we're going to talk about the full. One thing that came to mind, I don't know, this show happened, kind of shows how. It's kind of sad though. It's like the show looks. I mean, looking at the show, it. I mean, of course, it's like this huge image that it has like the entire Gotham, which is so beautiful to look at. By the way. And like it has all these stage buildings and stuff, and it looks amazing. Did it just went sort of like all out, and as you know, a fan of Batman, you know, the comics, movies, TV shows, TV shows are my all time. It's just like it's amazing to see that. You know, for me as a fan, it's that to see them do the show and knowing who was in it, of course, is also and who's behind it. Again, you could tell they're so. And the sad part about it is just like it's one of those shows that it's a shame that nobody talked about it. It's a shame that it's sort of been swept under the rug. So for me, I want to talk about the show. I want to talk about the cast in it, people behind it. So that's why we're doing this episode. We're going to be talking about one show that seems like nobody wants to discuss. That's Batman Live. So we're going to kick it off with this one. Producer Nick Grace conceived the idea of Batman Live following his successful project, Walking with Dinosaurs, the Arena Spectacular. I've heard of Walking with Dinosaurs. I remember the Walking with Dinosaurs, which was the nature documentary TV miniseries. I remember my oldest niece would always check out the documentary when we went to the library. She would always grab it because she always loved dinosaurs, and she was, of course, a big fan of Jurassic Park. Anyway, the story was written by Steve Brzezinski and Alan Burnett and Alan Heinberg. Alan Burnett, of course, you may know for his WB animated series, Hanna-Barbera Productions, DC Comics, Walt Disney Television Animation. He was involved with Disney's Adventures Gummy Bears. He also did Super Friends, writing for Super Friends. But he is also known for doing DuckTales, Batman Mask of the Phantasm, Batman Beyond, Return of the Joker. He was involved with Batman Dracula. He was the executive producer of it. Chase Me, the animated short, where he also wrote the Catwoman animated short, the silent short. He was also involved in a lot of Scooby-Doo, but his best work, of course, a lot of people may recognize the name Alan Burnett, came from Batman the Animated Series, where he wrote 11 episodes and producer of 85 episodes. He also did Freakazoid, which was a Steven Spielberg cartoon short-lived series. I'm surprised that it's not a cult series, a cult following that, because Freakazoid was really a good cartoon, and I'm surprised there's not a huge cult following or anything to really bring it back. I'm surprised they never brought it back after only 2 seasons. So Alan Burnett was involved in it. Um, he, of course, he of course did comic books. He did comic books such as Batman, Superman, The Flash, and Justice League of America. And also Alan Heinberg, who was involved in it. He is the, of course, the screenwriter for Wonder Woman. He did the Wonder Woman movie. He also did TV shows such as The OC, Grey's Anatomy, um, Sex and the City, and Scandal, and The Catch. Never heard of it. He was also involved in video games such as Marvel Heroes, which was Marvel's answer to DC Universe Online, and Marvel Heroes, of course, didn't last that long. It closed in 2017. So, and he also did Lego Marvel Avengers. um, he of course created characters such as characters created but uncredited for Kate Bishop, Hawkeye, and Wiccan. Sorry, Wiccan. I didn't know he created Kate Bishop. Oh. So anyway, those were the 3 guys who wrote it. I don't know much about Steve Brzezinski. Stan Brzezinski, sorry. Stan Brzezinski, not Steve. Let me look up. Let me look him up real quick. So, Stan Brzezinski was also involved in Batman Beyond, Superman the Animated Series, the new Batman Adventures, and he also was part of that. I don't even know why he doesn't even have a Wikipedia page. So, he was also involved in Justice League Action. He wrote an episode of that one. The Superhero Squad show, Transformers, Legions of Superhero, Batman, Justice League Unlimited, Static Shock, who deserves a movie, by the way. I'm just gonna keep saying that. He deserves a movie. Static Shock. So, Batman Live, of course, started in the tour in the UK in Manchester, summer 2011. But let's get to the cast and crew of it. The production mounted acclaimed professionals, including co-director James Powell, who worked on Les Miserables and Dirty Dancing. The crew had Anthony Van Last, widely known for Mamma Mia, as a creative director. That is the worst movie I've ever seen in my life. Renowned car designer Professor Gordon Murphy, who crafted the Batmobile especially for the show. I remember seeing the Batmobile. I think I had a Hot Wheel toy car of the Batmobile, it was a really unique design. I never seen a Batmobile like it. It had a very unique design to it. I'll just say it that. As well as composer James Seymour Brett, who crafted and arranged the music. S. DeVellin, who did the production. Luke Halls and Sam Pattinson as video designers. Patrick Woodroffe as the lightning designer. They had a lightning designer. Sorry, lighting designer. Sorry, that was lightning. I was just like, I didn't even know they had those. The crew included James Galloway as costume designer, Jack Barry as technical designer, Simon Baker, the actor, as sound designer. Circus sequence was created and managed by Brian Donaldson and Juliette Hardy Donaldson. I take it they're married. So anyway, the cast the cast included Nick Court and Sam Heughan as Batman / Bruce Wayne. Or you got to remember the show changed because it toured. You know, it went from 2011 to in the UK and the UK, England, Scotland, Northern Ireland, and the Republic of Ireland. Then it launched in North America in 2012. Um, so they had to change actors. But Sam Heughan might sound familiar. Sam Heughan is the lead actor in the Starz series Outlander. He played Batman. And I didn't even know that he played Batman because I seen him in like um, films such as The Spy Who Dumped Me. And I didn't even, I never seen him in a lot of stuff. I mean, I seen him in Midsummer Murders. I'll take that back. I did see him in that one where he played Ian Kane in the episode Kane's Crystal. But I didn't know he played Batman. That's what that's what surprised me because he, of course, is very well known for Outlander as Jamie Fraser, James Alexander Fraser. But I didn't know that. I didn't know he played Batman. Hey there, thank you. It's Catwoman. So, I didn't know that Sam Heughan played Batman. I mean, when you see him like in Outlander or something, he kind of looks like the guy who could play Batman, Bruce Wayne, and it actually surprises me that they never approached him to play Batman again, even though he played it for almost a year, doing this theater show as Batman. Emma Clifford, Emma Clifford had two roles actually in the theater show. She played Catwoman. She played Catwoman and she played Martha Wayne. Uh, I had to look up what she did in theater and film and stuff. So I just want to look see what she did. She is in the miniseries Confession, New Blood, John Carter. Uh, Not really a lot of stuff. I think she's more of a theater actress than film and television. Let's see what this. So she played both Martha Wayne and Catwoman. Carmen Darby Ford and Michael Pickering played both. Sorry, played Robin and Dick Grayson. Mark Frost played the Joker. Mark Frost, of course, is a television theater actor. He's on the Coronation Street as Ray Crosby. Never seen. It's actually funny though. I have the not the BBC, but yeah, the BritBox, and I always seen that like Coronation Street. I'm like, what the hell is that? Apparently, Coronation Street is the longest running British soap opera series with 10,000 episodes. Like I never seen it, but anyway, it's very talented to see actors have dual roles. Like they have two different roles, and it's very cool to see an actress who can play both Catwoman and Martha Wayne. It's really, I think, that just shows how talented they are. When you play dual roles at, especially when you're doing it live, when you're doing it um, live in front of an audience, you're playing two different characters. Because most people can point it out, like that's the same actress or actor playing that character, the other character. But that just shows how amazing they are. Just doing it. That's like talent right there. So, anyway, um, Alex Gammy played Commissioner Gordon and the Penguin. The late Alex Gammy, I think it's just, he played both, you know, Gordon Penguin. He died tragically of natural causes an hour before he was due on stage in the Theatre Royal Plymouth for Mac and Mabel. He was 57. But he played both Commissioner Gordon and the Penguin, which I think is, again, that's just talent right there. John John Conroy played Alfred Pennyworth. That's really cool. Conroy. I wonder if he's related to Kevin Conroy. So many questions. Poppy Tinnery played both Harley Quinn and Mary Grayson. But this guy takes the cake of playing not just one character, not just two characters, but three different characters. Christopher Price played John Grayson, the father of Dick Grayson, Joe Chill, and the Riddler. Christopher Price played three different characters: John Grayson, Joe Chill, and the Riddler. That right there is awesome because like that right there is like that is awesome. Gary Lake played the Ringmaster, and Two-Face, also portrayed by Christopher D. Hunt, who also played Two-Face. Jack Walker played Tony Zuko. Daryl Brockus played Dr. Thomas Wayne. Valerie Merzick played Poison Ivy. Thanos Noble and Ian Henderson played the Scarecrow. Aaron Hannah Jameson played young Bruce Wayne. So those were, I take it, the people that started it. And again, they changed out, people because the show carried from, again, summer of 2011 in the UK, England, Scotland, Ireland, Republic of Ireland, to and throughout the 2011, and its launch in North America 2012. But the tour ceased in December 2012 in Dallas, Texas. Um, so anyway, I kind of want to look up. It's kind of weird though. It's like for me, it's one of those things that's um, it fascinates me that it's kind of one of those shows that nobody really talks about like at all. I mean, as popular as Outlander is, with a lot of people, I mean, I take it it's very popular in Comic Con. It's very popular, everywhere. I never seen Outlander. I think I seen like how long an episode is. It's like an hour, and I'm just like, I can't sit through it. It's a miracle I sat through Game of Thrones. I don't think I could sit through Outlander. But it's very, I think it's very popular. Like a lot of people, you know, a lot of people I know kind of watch it. Like my cousin's a big fan of, um, you know, shows, movies are based on novels. Like, except, I mean, like she's a fan of it, but nothing can take the top, you know, book or movie that she loves, which is Harry Potter. But she knows Outlander, and she's a big fan of it. But it surprises me that the guy who is the lead actor in Outlander that a lot of people like, it amazes me that nobody talks about. Like he played Batman, and for me again that surprises me that nobody really like discusses it. So let's take a look at the bat suit. Like it's always important part of the character, the bat suit. Um, a lot of people. It's kind of funny though, because it's like when I watched the documentary film "The Death of Superman Lives," what happened? A lot of people always ask the people involved, like, what did the suit look like? And a lot of them got kind of confused, like, why do people care about what the suit looks like? It's just a suit. And the thing is, it's like it's a very important look, and that's the thing that's always important. It's like when they, of course, reveal the bat suit in the Batman movie. A lot of people, you know, kind of pointed out bits and pieces of it where it came from, like in the comics and stuff. Like some parts some, the part of like the gauntlets have the the look of the Court of Owls, Talion. The cowl kind of has that resemblance of the resemblance of the Adam West cowl, just the front of it because of the stitching, but also it has the resemblance of the Gotham by Gaslight cowl, the stitching as well. The symbol, of course, is like a reference to the classic first appearance of Batman, you know, which I think is really cool. You know, I that's like the one thing that's always to me that's always important is the bat symbol on the suit. That has to look cool, but this bat suit has a mixture of Arkham. but it also has a mixture of like Hush a bit. But I think it's the symbol that kind of has the look of Hush, but at the same time, it kind of has that Arkham look. It's black and kind of like has that silver look, but of course he's standing in the lighting, but it does have that look um, to it. So it's a very, it's not a bad bat suit. It looks different. Um, but anyway, it's not bad looking of a bat suit, especially for like tour and stuff. It's very cool. Catwoman has the classic Catwoman look that a lot of people know. Um, she kind of has that look of from Hush, but also the comics run, the classic, the comic book run with Catwoman. When Darwin Cook had a run with the Catwoman comics and stuff. It's a very cool look. Um, I do like the look. I can't wait to see how. Again, I can't wait to see how Zoe Kravitz looks as Catwoman. I think she's gonna knock it out of the ballpark. You know, I think she's gonna make. That's one thing that I always hope for with Catwoman is they bring her in the movie, but also continue having her be a recurring role in the Batman films, but also have her own films, her own story. When you think about it, you really never got to see like an entire film trilogy with Catwoman, you know, and also we have seen it with like Dark Knight trilogy where it's like a continuation of the story and the character's development with Batman, Catwoman, Gordon, you know, we never got to see that like a full length movie episodic story with the characters in Gotham, like how they evolve from phase one to phase three, four. Um, that's what we kind of want to see. I mean, that's what I want to see. I want to see Batman grow, learn, and evolve. And that's what I really want to see. So, um, Robin, of course, has the classic Robin suit. Um, it's very, in my opinion, when I look at a photo of it, it's very Tim Drake. By what I mean is, it looks very Tim Drake-ish. It's very Tim Drake type Robin suit. Um, it like the best way I could describe it is Robin Year One, not the Burt Ward Robin suit. Robin Year One, or Tim Drake's Robin suit. It just looks like that. Um, it's just kind of how it is. Um, the Penguin, it looks like Burgess Meredith, minus the purple hat. It looks like the Penguin. Of course, I mean it won't be the Colin Farrell Penguin that everybody knows, but it's just That's what it just kind of looks like. Anyway, the Riddler kind of has that look, the same look. Same goes with Poison Ivy, but Harley Quinn, they changed up the look. Um, I know a lot of people like myself do like the classic look of the characters and stuff, but with Harley Quinn, I kind of take it that you had to change it up because you have to remember it's a theater play. They have to change quickly into different characters, and the actress who played Harley Quinn played Dick Grayson's mother, so I take it she had to like change the look quickly and stuff. Harley Quinn just has a mask. It has a red. I'm trying to zoom in on the picture. Um, it has a very like red and black mask, which is I take it matches the outfit. Um, so they had to change that up a bit. So that's what had to be done. Um, Joker has that classic, iconic Joker look. Which is pretty cool looking. Um, the classic Joker suit, wild hair. The actor wanted to go with the wild look, but it has that classic Joker look. So, anyway, I'm going to read a review. Someone who lives in my city went to go see it back in 2012. Um, I didn't even know they came to St. Louis. I don't even remember what happened in 2012. I don't even remember. It was so fucking long ago. Um, but it's funny though. Like, I didn't even know. So here's what the person who saw it said. Thanks for the good folks in the Chaifetz Arena in St. Louis. I was able to score a few tickets to Batman Live, and I have to say that it totally meets this Batman's fan approval. Now, of course, it's not dark and gritty version of Batman that many of us love. It didn't go into, don't go into Batman Alive expecting to have it be written by the likes of David Merment. Instead, something like genre towards the 5 to 13-year-old crowd. It's a family affair that feels closer to the tone of somewhere between Batman, the 60s TV series Batman, and Batman Forever. You're not going to the theater to see a dark character study, a crime thriller, or sweeping war epic. This Batman, the way you likely saw him when yourself was as a small child. I can guarantee you that your kids will love it, and if you can loosen up a bit, I think you'll be dazzled as well. Here's my short, sweet look at Batman Live. So here's what he describes the set. The set itself is ever changing, beginning with tall buildings. I say tall by only 2 to 3 feet higher than a man, spread across the lengthy plateau of the black stage. That's right. I kind of pointed it out in the beginning of the show. Is they have like a small set of Gotham City, and they have like these buildings that are like really like cool looking. They're like small buildings, and it kind of shows like a Gotham City that which I think is pretty cool. Anyway, the background of it has a giant LED screen in the shape of the bat signal, showcase even more of a Gotham horizon. This was all mostly used for the opening scene which Bruce's parents were murdered. Naturally, I was a bit concerned about how it would show a child watching his parents get gunned down for an audience mostly of small children, but the Batman Live team found an interesting way of approaching it. It was one of the it was if it was in one of the comic books, yeah, it'd probably be picked apart and say that Thomas Wayne would never do that, blah 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 blah. But the play put on for youngins made it perfect sense. A bit corny, but it gets the point across and keeps young audiences members from having nightmares. Let's see. Other sets include Haley's Circus, a museum of some sort, Iceberg Lounge, Wayne Manor, the Batcave, Arkham Asylum. I would have killed the streets of Gotham, Arkham Asylum were easily the most thorough, while the rest were pretty heavily relied on the vibrant 3D images being projected by an enormous background. The weakest set was the museum, which didn't really make much sense and was made up of one of those few buildings from earlier. It was kind of confusing as whether or not the actors were supposed to be fighting from rooftop to rooftop or display cases inside of the museum. None of the kids seemed to mind. However, one segment that might make parents uneasy would have been Arkham Asylum, where you go inside Arkham Asylum at the end. Near the end, I turned to my friend and half-jokingly said, "This is probably the darkest Arkham Asylum that's ever been depicted." Where you see they had a bunch of inmates bagged and chained. Not simple. I will say this. This is like a Missouri person's joke. I'm sorry, I gotta point this out because a lot of us Missourians would make jokes like this if something dark happened. Like something dark and uneasy, saying this is probably the darkest thing I've ever seen in my life. I just have to point that out. That is something that a lot of us Missourians would crack jokes at. If we've seen something uneasy and creepy looking, we will joke about it. I don't know why, but we would. We would make a half joke about something and just kind of laugh it off. I don't know why. I guess we're just that kind of strange type of people. So anyway, not simply in straitjackets, but completely sacked from head to toe, wrapped in chains that hung from a ceiling. It's not even looks like the inmates each had the luxury of dangling from their own chains. They were multiplied bodies on each chain, making it pretty disturbing sight. Kind of surprising that Batman is okay with this sort of cruel and unusual punishment, eh? I asked my 5-year-old nephew about the Arkham Asylum. He didn't even mention it, though. He was too enthralled with how cool Scarecrow looked. So let's get to the story. I want to skip to the story. We kind of talked about the casting and the performance. Talk about the performance. I don't know what it is. St. Louis absolutely loves the Penguin. I don't know why, though. The Joker was popping out of a giant jack-in-the-box that didn't excite the crowd. Two-Face didn't wow anyone. He just stormed onto the stage, half-burned, holding a gun. Catwoman climbing down from the rope from the ceiling didn't make a single audience member jaw drop either. But when the Penguin walks out and says, "Wah, wah, wah," people lost their shit. I don't understand what happened. This is the dude who saw it. I'm just reading what he's writing. I still can't understand what happened. It happened 2 days in a row. My sister and my family went Saturday morning and reported that the penguin made the crowd go wild. The guy did a great job. He looked the part and was funny. But people around here really can't seem to get enough of that wah wah wah. I just love it. I think what it is just that I think people just love the Burgess Meredith penguins. I guess just that's what it is. I just love that when Penguin came out, walked out and says, "Wow," people lost their shit. My favorite performance was easily Harley Quinn. Her voice was pitch perfect. She had many of the very best lines. Surprisingly, the biggest role in the play. So, if you're a big fan of the animated series, the Harley Joker relationship, this play is a real hoot. So, I love that part of the Penguin. I just had to read that. So anyway, the story. Second half is held together a lot of the better than the first, because it focuses on the central story, which is simply let's stop the Joker from doing something terrible. Whereas the first half is there is an intermission in case your kids get antsy. It's dealt pretty heavily with the origin of Robin, which is a major part of the play. Various scenes depict the villains and Batman busting them. The play was kind of all over the place at the beginning. I was concerned that it wouldn't hold my interest if not for the occasional explosions. You don't really appreciate how fireworks really are nothing more than colorful explosions until you see and hear them blow up indoors. um, God, that reminds me of like the one time I gotta tell this story. Fireworks exploding indoors. So my two my two oldest nieces were young. This is a true story, by the way. Um, my sister lived next door to us, and my oldest sister, and me and my oldest sister would hang out. We would watch ER. I don't know why. I just sort of like the show ER. I still do, as a matter of fact. I still watch it occasionally. I watched like the early season where George Clooney was in it. Then when he left, I just sort of lost interest. Um, like if Batman's a doctor. um, it's kind of funny though. I always defend George Clooney as Batman, where I always tell people that on paper George Clooney is a good choice to play Batman, but they gave him the wrong script. They rushed the film into production, filming. That's what happened. Most people always keep saying like he was not that good of a Batman. And I'm just like, I'm sure if you gave him a script and direction and let him get into the role and stuff, he would have given a excellent performance as Batman. But again, we're talking about Batman and Robin. So anyway, back to the fireworks. So um, my mom and my sister were talking outside, and so I went outside and I was talking to my sister and stuff, and we were just like talking randomly. I forget what the hell we were talking about because what happens next caught, caught our attention. So what happened next was we were talking. All of a sudden, we hear this loud boom from inside my sister's house, and all of a sudden we look to see what the hell it was. So we're running to the door. All of a sudden, My second oldest niece opens the door, huge puff of smoke comes out. My oldest niece opens the door, walks out, huge puff of smoke. My second oldest niece runs and jumps off the porch, runs to our house. And my oldest niece is like laughing. And my sister is like, what the fuck happened? My oldest niece goes, well, we saw this firework and we were playing with the match next to the wick, and all of a sudden it just lit and 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 all I remember that just cracks me up is my second oldest niece runs to the porch, jumps off it, and runs because all you see is like all this smoke coming out of the house, and you can smell fireworks like gunpowder and all that. You could smell that shit. And oh my god, it was like the funniest fucking thing I've ever witnessed in my life. So anytime someone says fireworks indoors, I immediately think of that because that was just like the funniest fucking thing I have ever witnessed in my life. And anytime I see them, I don't know if I annoy them, but anytime I see them, I just bring that up how funny that was and how it was the funniest thing I've ever witnessed in my life. Um, I I don't know. It just and I don't know if it annoys him, but it just kind of you know it just makes me laugh because it was so fucking funny how they just did that. They boom. Oh shit. But anyway, let's get back to the story. The bright colors, but and the bright colors, but the second half totally brought things together and had me captivated. Yes, it was a simple narrative, but it was refreshing to just relax and take in the lighthearted superhero adventure for a change that was so uncomplicated. One that was more focused on the spectacle and laughs, rooting for the good guys without question. But you're not the intended audience here. It's your kids and the kid inside you. Anyway, in closing, go see it when it comes to your city. Chaffetz was a good venue, but I'm sure rather the performance goes there isn't such thing as a bad seat. In fact, I say that the higher you sit, the better. That is true. It's like if you ever look at I'm gonna post a photo of what the set looks like. I take it like if you sit higher, you can see like the buildings kind of like have that 3D effect um of it. So, one person wrote, "I was there Friday. Seemed like Riddler had a massive pop as well." Let's see. Hmm. Yeah, Penguin does look like someone who would um, get um, the St. Louis crowd crazy. I just love that. So, hmm. Anyway, let's get to other Batman news. I kind of wanted to cover the Batman Lives thing. talk about it. Have you seen Doom Patrol trailer? Season 2 trailer. I kind of saw part of it. I got to see part of the trailer. I never finished the first season. I just kind of lost interest in the first season. I don't know what it was. It was just kind of like the show kind of bored me a bit. I was just kind of bored and just sort of like, yeah, I don't feel like sitting through it. Just I just didn't really care for the first season of Doom Patrol. I don't know why. It just kind of like I said, it just kind of like lost interest in it. Yeah, don't know what to tell people. So, DC has released a new graphic novel titled The Joker 80th Anniversary 100-page super spectacular that celebrates the 80 years of Joker's attacks on Batman. In an interesting way, it turns Joker into Batman. What's the news? Wait, really? Yes. Joker becomes Batman in the story The War Within by Peter J. Tomasi and Simone Simone Banshee? Banshee? In the story, Batman and the Joker battle as they normally do. Batman dies, and then the Joker takes up the cape and cowl to become Batman. Joker says in the story, "Here's to crime because the more I the more I walk in your skin, the more I learn how to beat you." Which make which makes me want to smile even more. So there is a story where in the book, the Joker becomes Batman. The final page shows the Joker in full Batman costume standing in what looks like a wreckage of some kind of demented training room, which filled the Joker with memorabilia and and looks like creepy child dolls from The Dark Knight Returns and his old Red Hood outfit. And what we don't see is the corpse of Batman, who Joker seemingly shot down. It's pretty much confirming that the sequence of the story is Joker's twisted fantasy of how to kill the Batman by going through the process of fighting like Batman. Another story about the Joker and Batman, another interesting story is about the Batman and Joker within the 80th anniversary. The story Kill the Batman shows the world which Joker kills the Batman and he's no longer smiling. Okay. I kind of want to read the Peter J. Tomasi one because that sounds like that's a really good story. It sounds like a really good story. And, like I always said, like Peter J. Tomasi is like, I think by far one of the best writers that they have on Batman, and he was also one of the best writers they had on Superman. um, just reinventing the character and stuff. So it kind of saddens me that they never gave him the opportunity to write. In my opinion, it's kind of a travesty that they never did that. So I want to read this one. Batman movie leaks setups and controversial Joker comic book story. Matt Reeves' The Batman is primed to breathe new life into the mythos Cape Crusader by bypassing the retelling Batman origin story just to focus on the early days of his role as Gotham City's protector. We know the movie cast already includes a myriad of the Batman's classic foes such as Paul Dano as the Riddler, Colin Farrell as the Penguin. Now, a fresh new leak reveals that the Joker may be joining the villain lineup, and his involvement could be setting up for the classic comic book adaptation in The Batman 2. I hope they don't call it that. Give it a different title. But a leak from the direct, citing something that a reliable scooper, uh, Daniel Wright, perpetrates that the Joker, one of Batman's greatest foes, will be teased at the end of the Batman and introduced in the second film of the Matt Reeves trilogy. He will supposedly then appear in the third film alongside other villains. However, the leaks suggest that the Clown Prince of Crime won't appear in the first movie at all, that only his name will be mentioned. Wonder where they got that idea. Presumably that it will be an all-new Joker, so don't expect Joaquin Phoenix to show up in the Batman film. The fans already drawn comparison of the Batman to the 1980s the 1980s comic book storyline, the Batman Year One, and the graphic novel The Long Halloween, which included the Joker and many other villains appearing in the Batman. Year One will effectively retold the Cape Crusaders' origin and most notably influential change showcase Batman's first meeting with the Joker. I kind of like the idea that they are going to just mention the name, the Joker. Like, if for me, like if I again, if I wrote it, I would have just like the Joker is sort of like this urban legend, like you don't say his name and type of thing. Like I just kind of like always wanted to see that. I always thought like the Joker would work as sort of like this urban legend, this myth type figure, like that other villains know of, but they don't talk about because the Joker is like, you know, basically the devil in the city type of thing. Um, but I've, I always, liked the Joker, and I said it like I think yesterday's episode where I said the Joker is just as smart, but just as deadly as Batman. Like like if you ever watch the Dark Knight film, the Joker and Batman are playing chess, and the Joker is getting in Batman's head, playing psychological warfare with him, like messing with him, toying with him and the people around him. And for this film, like you have to set up the Joker as like the main bad guy for the third film. If you're going to do a trilogy, you need to set him up as this big challenge. Like you need to have Riddler and Penguin to be, the Riddler being the challenge for Batman's psychological battle, and the Penguin being Batman's physical battle. Then you set up Bane. You kind of set it up for like all these, big obstacle fights and stuff. You need to do that. The Joker needs to be the ultimate challenge for him in the third film. That's kind of the way to do it. it'd be kind of like Rocky, you know. Um, like it's kind of like Dark Knight, Dark Knight Rises, The Dark Knight Rises. Bane was sort of like Mr. T to Batman's Sylvester Stallone type of thing. Um, Bane, of course, wanted to, break the bat. It's kind of like how I kind of look at it. It's like the Joker needs to be this big urban legend, this big mythic type figure that Batman heard of and knows of, but seems dead. But the Joker's just been underground, sort of been underground, watching everything happen in Gotham type of thing. Like that's what they kind of need to do, in my opinion. It's just kind of like one of those things. Like I just kind of like to see that. I would love to see the Joker be played by someone older, like Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp, I think would be, awesome as the Joker, in my opinion. I mean, that's kind of who I want to see. Like, I want to see the Joker be played by someone older, you know, someone who's been around Gotham, someone who knows Gotham inside out. Um, but again, also the Joker might not show up in the trilogy. You have to, I should think of that as well. The Joker might be this sort of, you know, name, you know, or it would be really cool, like if they did like the three Jokers. But at the same time, a lot of people want to see the Court of Owls type story. They want to see that group, and they want to see Talon, the Court of Owls, show up, which would be really cool. Like I would love to see that. Like I would love to see the Court of Owls be in the Batman Telltale game, um, or in the next WB Montreal video game. Like, that would be really cool. But who knows? I mean, again, it might take a while for another Batman film because Matt Reeves spent years writing this script, and he might have his own plans, in effect. So anyway, um, so that would be really cool. Here's what also it says. It's possible mentioning the character as an early as the first film. Reeves is planning to adapt Batman: The Killing Joke revealed the Killing Joke. I think they kind of did the Killing Joke. I don't know. I kind of don't want to see Killing Joke happen, but I would, you know, June 23rd. Also, it's it said that Jeff John. It says John's miniseries, The Three Jokers, will be released June 23rd. So I definitely want to buy that book because I want to read that story. I mean, for me, um, I would love to see like other characters. Like I know a lot of people want to see the Joker, but for me, I would love to see like other characters in it. Like so. Anyway, do I think the Joker will appear in it? I don't think he will appear in the Batman movie, but I think he will be mentioned. I think a sudden name drop, like I mean, they did it with Batman Begins, where at the end of it they revealed that Joker, like somebody, is leaving a calling card, and Gordon hands him the card, and Batman turns it over into the Joker, which is brilliant. I would love to see like a conversation between Penguin and some other character, and all of a sudden, Joker walks into the Iceberg Lounge and sort of says like says something to him, and the Joker sort of leaves like this terror in the Penguin. Yeah, the Joker sort of says like, "You think this is your city? It's my city." And he sort of like leaves this like um this Joker Jack in the Box, and all of a sudden the music starts playing and it pops up and scares, like you know, Penguin. Like it would be really cool to see that, but again, I kind of want to see the Joker sort of be watching like, and I would love to see him like use the classic line that Jack Nicholson used, and the Joker like sees the bat symbol where he's at, and he sort of says, "Wait till you get a load of me." Like, I would love to see that. Like, that would be again, that would be really cool. But that's just my thought of it. Like, the point I'm getting is like um, you have to like have a moment in the film that is just terrifying. You need a moment that also that's not just terrifying but also iconic. Here's a question: Who would you cast? Who do you think should play the Joker if you did a movie? If I did a movie, it would be terrible. Um, um, I honestly think, like, again, I know people say Johnny Depp, William Dafoe, but I always go to Richard Brake. Um, even though he played like Joe Chill, and in Game of Thrones he played Night King. He played the Night King in Game of Thrones. Um, he played him in season 4 and 5. Then they replaced him with some other dude. But Richard Brake was, I think, I think he would be so awesome as um, Joker. If you ever seen like the movie 31, he was terrifying. He he's one of those actors that if you ever seen the movie 31 and watch some of the scenes with involving Doomhead is who he plays in 31. He looks like the fucking Joker. He just looks terrifying. And I know a lot of people are like, well, Joaquin Phoenix did it with like the bloody blood smile, but look at Richard Brake, then look at Joaquin Phoenix. Like nothing against Joaquin Phoenix. Joaquin Phoenix was phenomenal as Arthur Fleck, the Joker, and I hope they do. I hope DC and Warner Brothers does the Elseworlds type movies like the Joker. But that would be brilliant. But if you look at Richard Brake as Doomhead, he is like terrifying. He is a scary looking dude. And it is, I think, that moment Rob Zombie actually captured a Joker in that movie. He captured the Joker in it. Because Doomhead likes messing with uh, his victims. He likes psychologically playing with them before he kills them. The Joker is sort of that way, but also at the same time, the Joker just likes having the last laugh in it. So, I mean, for me, like Richard Brake would be great as the Joker. He it's one of those things like you watch him, it's just like it's a travesty and a crime that either Marvel or DC has not grabbed him to be in a comic book movie as a villain. Like it's one of those things. It's like a travesty and a crime it's also a crime that they never made Static Shock into a movie or TV series. Um, as much as people bitch and complain that there aren't, um, you know, African American superheroes, it's just like, well, where the fuck is Static Shock when you mention him? Like everybody mentions the Black Superman, Mon-El as Superman. It's just like, what about Static Shock? Like, can Static Shock at least have a moment? You know, I I, I love the TV show. I love the animated series Static Shock, and I really want to see Static Shock in a movie. I want to see him in hell. I would love to see him in Black Lightning, so they could give him a fucking spinoff. You know, but he won't do it. Like, I don't know what the problem is with DC and CW and stuff. Like, you would think that CW, who wants to do a lot of diverse characters, a lot of diversity, you think that to be like, you know what, we should do a Static Shock movie or a Static Shock TV series. You would think that, but instead they're just like, there aren't enough characters, and diverse characters and stuff. And it's like, first off, bullshit. Bullshit. You don't even want to do it. You just want to bitch and complain about this. And it's like, you don't want to do it. Like, I would fucking do a Static Shock TV series for free. I would write the shit out of that show. I would write a lot of episodes for it. Like, I would love to see that character in a TV series. I would love to see it. You know, I honestly would. You know, I would love to see, Static Shock, Vixen. I mean, even though they had like Vixen and Legends of Tomorrow, Icon would be really cool to see. Icon and Rocket, like I would love to see that. I would love to see them in a TV, series and stuff. But again, they just don't want to do it. That's what aggravates me. Like, but the one thing that kind of, I think the reason like a lot of people don't want to do it is because politics. Because in the comics, it's revealed that Icon is a conservative Republican who holds conservative views on economic and social issues, which also puts him in conflict with more liberal milestone comic superheroes, including his sidekick. Clarence Thompson was a fan of Icon. It's kind of like, I think that's the one reason they just don't want to do it. Again, I would love to see Icon in a TV series. I would love to see Static Shock, uh, Rocket. I would love to see them in it. But again, they just don't want to do it. That's that's the thing that bugs me about DC and CW and all of them. Of course, if they did Icon, they would make him a villain. If CW did it, you know, that's the thing that just bugs me about um, DC and stuff. And a lot of those writers there, they just go like, there aren't enough diverse characters, and there aren't enough characters, people of color. It's just like, you have them, but you just don't want to do anything with them. That's the problem with it. And I'm a white guy saying this. You don't want to do anything with them. If you made a Static Shock comic book series, I would buy it. I would buy it. I honestly would. I don't even buy a lot of comics that much anymore, sadly. I mean, like I do buy some, but I buy back issues because a lot of the books currently now are just not that interesting. I mean, I buy Detective Comics. I buy Catwoman. I did just order Catwoman 80 because everybody's buying them up. I spent $23 to get Catwoman 80, and I was just like, because the reason I did it because I called up my comic book shop because I was going to have them mail it to me. Like I was going to buy it from them and mail it to me, and they were like, "We don't have any." I was like, "Are you serious?" Like, and they're like, "No, we don't have them. It's sold out." So I had to go on Amazon and I had to buy it, and now they just shipped it. They shipped it at like 5 a.m. So I'm waiting for them to. I'm waiting for it to arrive. So, um, but I know, like I said, like if they did Static Shock comic, I would buy Static. I would buy it. If they did Icon and Rocket, I would buy it. I would buy it. I honestly, I'm not just saying that, just say it. I'm being honest with you. I would buy it. I like those characters. I like that they had Icon and Rocket and they had Static in the Young Justice. I really love that. I think it was really cool. I wish they would do more with these characters, but they don't. Like, and the problem with Young Justice season 3 was they had too many characters. Like, they had too many characters in the comics, and too many, not in the comics, but in the show, they had too many characters in it. They need to downsize some of those characters a bit. Like, they need to downsize. And I'm sorry, like, the 3 new characters they brought in were just boring. They were very boring characters. And the way, and also what aggravated me with Young Justice was the way they handled Wally. The way they handled his death, and they have uh, Artemis fall in love with her sister's ex-boyfriend, who is the father of her sister's kid, which is fucked up. Like it, like that is the most fucked. That is like the most fucked up Jerry Springer shit I have ever seen in an animated cartoon. Um, again, the thing is like, after season 2, like when Static was, Static has a mentor, and I was just like, all right, they're gonna have Static involved with the team. They're gonna have him, they're gonna have Static there. I don't remember seeing Static anywhere in that show. I don't remember seeing him in season 3. You know, and it's just like that is the problem with. Again, that is the problem with DC writers and all that. They bitch about it, then they don't do anything about it. They just want to gripe, you know. So DC Comics is somehow listening. If you do a Static Shock comic, I will buy it. I will buy it from you. If you do a Static Shock movie, I will go see it in theaters. I will wear a fucking mask and sit 2 hours in a movie just to see that character. If you do a TV show on HBO Max, I will subscribe. I will subscribe to see that show. If not, then you lost me as a customer if you don't want to do it. You know, if you think about it, like, and that's the problem with it. Like, Static Shock is, a very underrated character that deserves a TV show. He deserves a movie. He's in the same boat as Plastic Man, um, you know, Tim Drake. Still want to see a Tim Drake um, character. I still want to see him in film and stuff, and TV shows and stuff. I would love to see Static show up in Titans. Like, you know, I'm surprised people haven't bitched about that yet. There's too many white characters in Titans. I'm just joking with you. I'm surprised I haven't bitched about that yet. But I would love to see, Icon Rocket show up in like Stargirl for some odd reason. I would love to see them show up on that. Um, but they, DC doesn't want to take no chances with any of them, and that's a crime right there. So anyway, um, tomorrow we'll be doing another show. Wait, what day is it today? Shit, today's Thursday. There won't be a show tomorrow. My bad. I don't do shows on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Um, I just realized, fuck, Friday. I'm busy Friday. I just realized today's Thursday. Man. Anyway, we'll be back next Monday. To do another show. Friday, I just realized Friday. I don't. I realized that my new schedule is that I don't do shows on Friday because things happen. Um, so we'll be back Monday. I'm currently going to be rereading Batman Earth 1, Volume 1 and 2, and I'm still, to this day, waiting for, waiting for Volume 3. I take it they're not going to do one. So, anyway, I will be back Monday talking about whatever comes to mind. So, I will see you all on Monday. So y'all be safe. Um, and stuff. So wait, hold on. Are you gonna do? Hold on. This is a question that just popped up on Discord. So, will you be doing a Six Flags video still? The new rules and stuff opening, such as social distancing in lines, wearing a mask throughout the park. That second question just answered your question. The second thing just the second rule just answered the question. No, It's kind of funny though. I got blocked by KPLR 11, which is like our local news, um, and stuff. Like, it's kind of funny though, because I criticize. It's kind of funny though. I criticize their their report where they reveal that coronavirus positive coronavirus things popped up, and I called them out on it, saying like how ironic it is that you're reporting that there's I forget how many percentage case of positive testing for coronavirus when everything's just reopening, and I just sort of made that sort of jab at them because it's just like it aggravates me that um they want people to it's I pointed this out and a lot of people got mad about it. A lot of people who listened to the show got mad when I pointed this out. I never seen anybody talk about social distancing, um, or any of like all the things that they did while people were protesting. And when people were protesting to have things reopen, like their businesses, and so people could go back to their work, go back to their jobs, go back to their business, everybody criticized those people who were protesting because people who wanted to go outside instead of being cooped up in their home. And how people criticized them, and when people were, rioting, looting, and all that, people weren't batting a fucking eye about it. They just were like, those were just peaceful people, and it's just like, I'm sure kicking somebody when they're knocked out, knocking their teeth out, yeah, that's peaceful. Bunch of idiots. Um, I know a lot of people got mad about it when I started speaking about, criticizing people who were looting and rioting. I know I pissed off people about it, But it's my opinion. It's my constitutional right to say what I want to say. Freedom of speech. I just don't like people who think they're above the law and they break the law. Again, I've seen the video what that cop did. That cop deserves to go to prison for killing George Floyd. And I really want to know what the history was between that guy and George Floyd. Because there is a video that a woman who I think worked at a nightclub, managed a nightclub, where George Floyd and that guy worked together as security guards. And I really want to know what happened in that club and what happened between those two. Because if George Floyd worked with that dude, he would have said, like, hey man, I worked with you. So I really want to know what the fuck happened. Uh, Again, of course, people say, oh, it's conspiracy theory. It's just like, and stuff. But again, the guy who killed George Floyd's brother, the cop, that guy who killed George Floyd, and the cop that killed him, deserves to go to prison for murder. That cop deserves to go to prison, for what he did. But defunding the police and all that is just completely asinine. You can't defund police, and you can't replace them with social workers, counselors, and all that shit because that ain't gonna fucking work. I'm sorry, it's not gonna work. It won't work. I've been to South St. Louis. That shit is fucking crazy. No counselor would go there. So I'm just saying, like, nobody would fucking go to South St. Louis when shooting's happening. No counselor, no social worker would fucking go there. Alright, I'm just pointing that out. And like one person said, like every city, if you defund the entire police and disband them, whatever, everything will be like Gotham City. It will be violent, horrible, and horrifying, and nobody would go to it. It's like look at look what happened in Seattle. My cousin who lives in Seattle sent me like photos of this place um, that these people autonomous zone. Like my cousin sent me like photos of it. Like she like look at this fucking shit. And her and her husband were like down there because they were hearing like reports like somebody took up parts of Seattle, made it to an autonomous zone, which is like they are not in the United States, even though they technically are. But it just like they did that, and I was just like, it's fucking crazy. And the mayor and the governor aren't doing anything about it because they don't want to mess with those people. It's just like, and the funniest thing about it that happened, we'll wrap up the show. I know, ranting. Was I gotta find this tweet? I got an email. Yeah. CBS All Access. Sorry, it's just that's what it was. Yeah, here it is. Seattle's zone. Here it is. Somebody posted this. The person I take is like the spokesperson for the autonomous zone. Alert Tattoo. The homeless people who we invited took away all the food from Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone. We need more food to keep the area optional. Please, if possible, bring vegan meat substance. What the hell is vegan meat substance? Fruits, oats, soy products, etc. Anything to help us eat. Um, I don't even know what the hell that was. I don't even know what vegan meat substance is. I'm not even vegan. I don't even know what that is. Um, it's it. You had to look it up. Like the best way to describe this autonomous zone thing, it reminds me of Arkham City. How Hugo Strange built Arkham City within Gotham. That's what it reminded me of. It reminded me so much of Arkham City. I don't know why. It reminds me of it minus the Joker gang and all that, but it's what it reminded me of. So anyway, um, I just wanted to kind of talk about that real quick. So anyway, we will be back Monday. Um, everybody just have a good Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I will see you Monday. So y'all stay safe and yeah, see you Monday.